All right, so hello everybody, and welcome to episode 59 of the SparkCast.
All right.
And joining us today is Thomas from Team Dakota.
Hey guys.
So we had a rather interesting weekend, and I guess the question to you is, where were you?
Well, I actually, I guess I don't have too much of an excuse. I was at home just spending time with my wife, hanging out. Brian was out like on a hike for the day, on particularly Sunday. Sunday is what we're talking about.
Right,
That was when a very convoluted, complex storm of issues arose. Um,
simultaneously.
Yeah, which just made it look really bad. It's terrible. We can only do so much. So I'm glad all those things got resolved really quickly. But for those of you who don't know what I'm talking about, there is one outstanding one. I'll talk about that later. But so on Sunday, the treasure trove totally broke. The tour was not allowing people to get past 83%, which that's at the part where it starts at the marketplace. So specifically, the tour was preventing people from finishing that. So it's kind of the same issue, but happening twice. The homepage was not loading. It is still not loading. We are still working on that. The problem is it relies on other people not on our team. So of course that's a huge slowdown. It's unfortunate, but
It's
we
like
are
having to go
working.
through human
We're right
resources.
now. Huh?
It's like having to go through human resources or something. It's gonna take forever.
Yeah, well, we're right now we're trying to see if we could do because we don't know when we're gonna be able to resolve this thing, which is just ridiculous. We're looking to see if we can do like a redirect, right? So at least if you go to home, it'll redirect you to the community page for the forums. Something to that. We're just trying right now. We're just trying to get something so it's not blocking people. Because we get thousands of views every day from that are coming in from the homepage, and that's obviously traffic we're losing because they're getting a 500 error, which is just silly.
Right.
So yep. So working on that. Geez, there was another issue too that I'm totally forgetting. I'm sure.
Conquer.
Conquer. That's right. So the sale unfortunately ended a day earlier than it was supposed to. That is just the simple answer for that is just human error. They
Typo.
ended up, yeah, basically, and so that was, we had so to give you a really sad storyline, and there's a user actually who went through this on our forums was they went through the tour because they wanted to get to Conquer during the deal. They went through the tour, got stuck at 83%. Somebody found some really strange workaround that allows you to get past that. They did that, all this work, and then they get into Conquer and find out that Conquer indeed is not on sale when it's supposed to be. That is just a terrible experience and does not reflect well on our team or, for Spark or what have you. So really unfortunate. We extended the sale through Friday now, so still have 2 days, or it ends Friday morning,
So
so
just
not
tonight and tomorrow.
yeah, yeah, tonight and tomorrow. Of course, depending on your time region, but yeah, it's planned to go back to normal at 9 a.m. uh our time, which is Pacific time, on Friday. So later in the day for some people, but yep. But we wanted to extend that sale for sure because that's not right for it to end early. And so I think for the most part, everybody's through all those problems now. It's just mainly that homepage that's left. But yeah, obviously a crazy storm that was not. I tell you, when I saw that on Sunday evening, I was like, oh no! And I like sent. Whoa! What just fell? That was crazy.
Oh, it's
That was
fine.
weird.
It's fine.
Yeah, that was. It was loud on my side. I don't know how loud it was for you.
No.
The Let me make sure it didn't. Oh, right here.
And this is the beginning of the next problem that's going to rise in Project Spark. Thomas
Yeah,
breaks
no,
things.
no, I didn't flail around that much for how it's our what fell. I just saw it just now. This is our camera that we use for the live stream. So
Right.
right now I'm on a laptop for the Skype. But for the live streams we have a stationary camera. But it here, so it's behind the scenes for you guys. So this is the camera that we use, and it fell because we actually have it positioned above the computers to get the angle for two people.
Right.
So yeah, that just fell.
So tomorrow you guys are going to be having a little bit of a weird situation where you're not actually going to be doing a live stream.
Yep, we're not doing a live stream. We are actually so um yeah, this is good. I guess should bring this up. So we're not doing a live stream tomorrow. The plan is to do Spark episode 2. We are probably just from how things are tracking, unless substantial late night, early morning happens, we probably aren't going to make our deadline for tomorrow, so it's probably going to get released on Friday.
Okay, so that explains why you wouldn't be streaming tomorrow because you're going to be doing so much work on the SparkCasode.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's basically we're getting it across the finish line, which just takes a lot of time and effort. So, that's even so Brian's not planning. Brian was thinking about joining for the Sparkcast, but he's busy on Sparkasode. So we are cutting it close, but I think we'll be a day late. I think it'll come on Friday.
And this is even after you guys had an extra week.
Yeah, well, so this is the thing. I know. So we had the extra thing. The problem is when we're building all of these on stream with you guys, the world's changing, and so we can't really film until we know we're not changing anything else in the world.
Because then you
So
would have
that's
assets that might actually
yeah,
not
we want
be
it to be consistent
released.
throughout. We don't want like to shoot 3 scenes and then all of a sudden, when we go back to that scene, there's like the assets have changed because we've updated the lighting or
You know
we've
what? That still sounds like an awesome idea. Just because of how like fourth wall breaking would be.
right where stuff just changes.
Yeah, you'd be like, oh, that was the old version.
Yeah, there you go. That would be a good opportunity for a future episode.
All right, so
So yeah, the goal, we're not doing a stream tomorrow. Um, Probably gonna come Friday for Spark Episode 2, unfortunately, but you win some, you lose some. Unfortunately, that's gonna come in a day late. It looks like it's a more involved episode than episode 1 was. There's a lot more action-y kind of stuff happening, which is harder to shoot. We realize in episode 1, looking back, we realized that there was a lot of standing and talking, which is probably we're trying to be a little bit more entertaining than that. We still but it was of course introducing us to characters, so
well,
it makes
that's how like Red versus Blue started, right? Because
yeah,
pretty much
yeah,
all of that was just standing next to each other talking about like headlight fluid and elbow grease.
yeah. But they're better voice actors than me and Brian.
It's true.
Not unfortunately, not much there unless I guess I could go try to take classes or something. But
Eh,
yeah, exactly. Yeah. But I don't know. I am trying to be more enthusiastic in my voice acting. Uh,
emphatic.
but we'll see. It's hard. Hatch is a very sarcastic kind of. He's in the serious character of the bunch, so he's not like Davin's very ridiculous, right? And he's like just makes exclamations all the time and sounds super happy and kind of silly. Davin or Hatch is very like, no, don't do that.
Did
That
you
is
ever watch Futurama?
not too many episodes. I've
Okay.
seen them, but
There was actually a character that was supposed to be a major character of the show, but everybody hated him so much that they minimized his role to the point where he only had like 1 or 2 episodes that he even appeared in.
oh,
The
interesting.
son of the professor, or his clone technically, was supposed to be the sassy one who pointed out everything fourth wall breaking, everything that's wrong with the show.
Hmm.
Unfortunately, the audience hated being told everything that was wrong with the show and found the character to be annoying. So then they minimized that character and like only gave him one episode that was where he starred in, and it was one of the worst episodes of the series.
Wow, I didn't know that. Well, hopefully you guys don't think that way about Hatch.
Well, if not, then you can always kill him off and spawn another character that has your voice.
That is true. The Hatch reincarnate, but in a very different way.
Yeah,
Who knows? Yeah,
Bizarro Hatch,
yeah, Bizarro Hatch.
Void Hatch.
Mm. Also, I'll try. I was we were so I apologize for the late stream. That was totally my bad. We were trying to use new equipment, a new laptop today. Figuring that the audio, the other laptop's been better for Skyping generally for consistency,
Hmm.
for calls, but the camera was no good for
It's down
for
at the
doing a
keyboard,
video.
unless you want to
Yeah,
look up his nose.
yeah, the camera. So I'm gonna point. So the camera was like down here, almost by right by the keyboard on the monitor, and gave the perspective like this, where I was, super, I look like a giant when I don't really, that's not a good angle for anyone.
No, it makes everyone look like they have a goiter or something.
Yeah. And actually it's like a picture technique, right? When have you ever seen one of those things where it's like how to take an attractive selfie or whatever?
No, I haven't looked at
And they're
those.
like, because you're supposed to get this angle that's very top down. So you like that's why like you have the high, it's high and you're looking down on yourself because it's like a better angle.
I think this is a generational issue that I've never come across.
Yeah, I don't do selfies. So I can't remember where I even saw that. Actually, it was where did I hear that? Can't remember. It was this whole thing about like how to like fake your selfie. It was kind of like like Photoshop, right? Where it'll be like this is what the person actually looks like, and then this is what the image they come out looking like, through Photoshop. Like like be a model or whatever. You'll see the final, but like the actual person, wasn't like didn't even have legs that long or whatever, and you'll like go through and see how much they doctored the photo.
Well, speaking of Photoshop, we just
Oh
entered
yeah, yeah, yeah.
brand new ground for Project Spark.
Yeah, exactly. So that's cool. Now my entire thought I was trying to complete isn't finished.
And I'm
But
not going to let you because it was going way off the rails.
I know you're like, rein it in.
So, yeah, Project Spark, by the way, we're on the SparkCast.
I
Uh,
we could talk about whatever, but yeah, Spark. Yeah, we do occasionally talk about Project Spark.
yeah, occasionally. We generally try to talk about it at least once per episode.
Yeah, so importing, right? Importing images. On our Tuesday stream this week, we talked about all the ways to do that. Of course, it's only on Windows because you have to be able to access the game's files. It's gonna be really cool. I'm really excited that we're able to do that now. It took some buy-in from the team. Um, I mean, I kind of want to give some backstory that we haven't been able to really complete yet or really put into writing. Most people wouldn't be interested, but so the team has always known about this exploit or however you want to think. It's not really an exploit, right? But this workaround way. We've always known about it. Even internal games were made using this exploit. Believe it or not. Okay, I really should workaround. I shouldn't call it an exploit because that is a negative connotation. But yeah, so games actually internally were made using this workaround. So we've known about it for a really long time. The whole point, going into not talking about it, and then when it was actually early. It was discovered like a year ago, early in beta. By members of the CAG, by especially anybody who's poked around there, and then even it's been talked about on the forums too. Definitely, I know there's a conversation with Biz 001986 2006, or I can't remember all the
Right, but
numbers.
he just improved the screenshots. He didn't so much bring in like copyrighted
Yeah,
material or anything like that.
he did some. He actually was very very smart in his on the way that that was brought forward. About using Spark to build a picture and then actually taking that, taking a screenshot and then bringing that into it, photo editing, crop it however you want, and then bring it back. I think that's really smart. And I think that's a way that a lot of people should actually approach it, especially because uh, it'll make things look more natural and fit with like the Spark universe. Like obviously you can use anything you want for an image, and some things are not going to necessarily really match all the actual objects in your world. Of course, we have people doing entirely 2D games or thinking about doing 2D games. Highly recommend. So, Pony's Progress, probably my favorite thread ever of all time. So, +1 when you said that, because I was like, totally agree. That was awesome to like just track the progress of like the first five, and I really hope Miscad sticks with it. But
Absolutely.
yeah.
Every
One of my
detail.
favorite things. Yeah. Like perfect detail. Like it kind of explains the thinking process, right? And about like iteration and always improving and thinking about better ways to do stuff. Just loved it. Loved the whole thing. It was
So
like
that anybody
insight
else that
into.
wants to try to do it starts there, and then they can do what Mesca did at the end and understand why he got there.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Like actually his pixel idea, right? Of like doing all these images as pixels and then like placing them in an order made a lot of sense to me, for sure. Like I saw that I was like, oh, he can generate like full things, but he quickly realized with our display limits and how our game thinks about images is that obviously it was a huge performance issue, and so he found it better to actually swap the whole image out, which I think most sprites actually do that, right? Where a sprite is the image itself and it switches the full
Right.
one. You
Rather
know,
than
I'm not
having individual squares being replaced
Mhm.
every single frame.
Yeah, like that is a pretty inefficient way, but it's obviously very flexible if it ran really well, like you could do a lot more dynamic things, just depending on what you're trying to do. But it's great, like the way that he has the parallax, right, with that desert background, like all really smart ways of doing it. Like it's gonna be really cool to see. I mean, think about it. All he needs to like a few problems like he needs to solve is like collision.
Right.
So these 2D icons once they start, well, okay, if he puts a house now into this world, how's he gonna interact with that? Is he gonna be able to bump it and not go any further? Is it that all that kind of, interactableness is gonna be the tricky part, getting that into the image part, I think. I definitely think it's possible though. There's no reason why I don't think some trickery could be put together to make it look really good.
Right, because he doesn't need to actually have physical objects in the game telling him all this
Exactly.
stuff.
Yeah, it's really cool. And in a way, right? You're since you're not depending on our physics, you can do a lot of
Your
things
own.
that you wouldn't normally be. Yeah, exactly. You can be really specific about things in collidable and all that. Probably a little bit of vector math, I'm sure, on a 2D plane. Like I'm imagining like here is this vector point, right? And here's this building, and I know this size, so like your character cannot progress past this like vector position in the, um, you know,
Right, or platforms or whatever.
yeah, exactly, or well, yeah, exactly what you can land on, that kind of thing.
It's gonna be a long process, I think, because this is like not supported at all. Right, there is no 2D collision code tile or anything like that, and this is
Yeah,
all
no, it's
images that
gonna
are
be
being done
very,
from
be
scratch.
definitely touch and go. Like obviously, yeah, right. We didn't build Spark. Spark was very much 3D focused. And of course, people who wanted to make 2D games have felt that effects of that and the lack of features for that. And we don't need to go into that. You guys all know that story. We talk about it like every Sparkcast. But yeah, so it's gonna be really neat to see all that, like the solutions as as players and creators like work through that. Um, I want to see a lot of people do it. I don't want to see just Muscad do this and that be the only game. Like I
Well,
think right now is a
Airy
great
and
time.
Instant Kafka did work together on making a village in 2D out of those little little squares that they pieced together.
Oh
Do you see that
yeah,
video?
that's right. I think so.
It was really he didn't actually make a game out of it so much as he was able to
I saw
move
the
the camera, pan
picture, but
around.
it didn't have any like movement in
Oh, it
it.
did. He moved the camera around and then he panned out, which is actually just shrinking the images.
I don't think I saw that one.
Ah, yeah.
Okay.
So that was really nifty work between the two of them. And
Yeah.
I'm also hoping that this progresses. When I showed those videos in .org, chat pretty much exploded like, "Oh my God, this is the best thing ever."
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's really cool. Like, it doesn't look like Spark at all, and it opens up a lot of possibilities, right?
Well, someone on the forums actually commented that this was no longer giving the benefit or the whole soul of this was made in Project Spark, but
Yeah, it's totally true.
I think that's actually better than it was made in Project Spark. It was usually use some of the aspects of Project Spark that we have available to us, like coding, code tiles, and the sharing system. It just doesn't use your 3D assets to generate them.
Yeah. No, I think that's a great thing that it doesn't look like Spark. Like I think we want everything to stand out and be awesome. So having that out there is great. Like that is definitely, when people say it doesn't look like a Spark game, that's not saying that like Spark games don't have their own good look, but obviously it makes them stand real, far.
It
It's like
makes
Defco. It's like
it
Defco games, right? Like don't look like Spark at all, and that's particularly a lot of the appeal of them is the art style. It's a
right.
huge part of games in general, right? Is having a unique art style and oftentimes, right, like art style is all about creating, it's a really important component of your game design. It's about like the emotion, and usually the mechanics are a lot that drive the art decisions, and about like what the theme is. And of course, that's one of the best things about Spark is we do provide assets. That's anybody who uses another engine or even professional tools, like the assets and art things is like the number one issue usually.
I mean,
There's
just
some
finding pictures through. I was doing some image searching the other week, and just finding pictures that I liked that would show what I was intending it to look like. It took forever. Just showing
Mhm.
somebody a proof of concept of my ideas, and it was just tedious as heck. And
Yep.
I can't imagine doing that for a game that I was passionate about, that I actually put the work in for, and then saying, now what do I make it look like? Because I'm not an artist.
Yeah. I mean, think about the biggest bulk of our team, right, is the content makers, is definitely the artists for sure. Like our content team is the largest part of our Team Dakota. And a lot of work goes into the props and assets and effects and UI and like making it look good. And I mean assets are it's the main one of the main differentiators on Spark. But yeah, obviously you can do color tints and do all these glued assemblies and all that stuff. But in the end of the day, right, you're still using Spark assets.
So, speaking of Spark assets, there's two things I want to talk about branching off that, and I want to mention them now so I can remember what the second part is.
Yeah.
One, Battlestations that just came out, or is coming out tomorrow, sorry. And two is what to expect in season two, or series two of sci-fi. So first, Battlestations. There was some kind of big news today. It's free.
It is free.
So
So,
why?
yeah, what? So Battle Stations, really cool. We just put that blog post up today. I just finished writing it last night and got it together. It is very, very cool pack. I mean, it's my favorite sci-fi pack we've had. And the team, this is part of this is not so I shouldn't say this is not the reason why we waited a week. But because we also had the week, we also took a longer time to talk about pricing on battle stations. And, it's kind of just decided that, like, hey, our users don't have any free sci fi content yet. Um, they have this fantasy stuff. And what better pack, could we do that would be free that, like, it really has a little, has, I mean, just has a lot, but it has a little bit of everything, right? It has a hero, it has an antagonist, it has weapons for them to do battle, it has kind of an
Architecture.
architecture piece with the bunker, really cool effects. Like it has a music track. Like it's kind of this whole little package, right? It's not First Contact can also be looked at that too. But that's part of the starter pack and all that. So that's not as easy just to be like, here, it's free now. But Battle Stations, we saw an opportunity to say like, hey, this should be free. We're not kidding when we say we really want to empower creators and creations, and part of that is making sure there is not walls stopping people from, content. That's part of like the Sail Will Conquer too. Like we want to see people using all these really cool things, and it's a silly reason when people have. I mean, obviously there's a huge backlog of other packs that people need to work toward to start saving for, or a lot of people are saving for their first year bundle, and but we want them to be able to play around with some of these assets for sure. I mean, it makes creations better when they get to use more interesting things.
Right,
So
so last week you said that you wanted to get DLC to content packs, however you want to phrase it, into the hands of creators sooner and or faster or any such way.
yep, we did
And
say
this
that.
is like an exclamation point on that. Like, by the way, here right away
Yeah,
for
and it's
nothing.
also like it's kind of our full stop period right on for the end of summer too. Like
It
we've
was your
done
mic drop.
Yeah, it's kind of a mic drop. So, I mean, it's a really cool pack, and we're really excited to be able to, make it free. It's gonna be awesome. And also, right, so it wasn't the planned for, to be free up until, a week ago or what have you. I mean, these were discussions we were, definitely me and Brian are part of the pricing discussions and stuff. Bringing community input and how much we think you guys would value this or whatever. Um, but yeah, now I lost my train of thought.
Getting
So
creation stuff sooner.
yeah. So getting creation stuff sooner. You're talking about the pricing, and yeah, we just decided like this is a good opportunity. Let's make it free. time is right for it, why not?
And the modular weapons and like the what's called the Space Marine helmet being available for all characters and stuff like that. This is like the most functional pack that you guys could have given everybody. And
Yeah,
it's
I
argued
mean,
that creators are now getting better sci-fi content than fantasy content for free. Because all the fantasy content was like the original stuff that was planned before there was any community feedback at all.
that's you're not wrong at all. Like I mean, our artists and designers and everybody on the team learns more and more as we do more and more packs about what makes a good prop, what people are looking for. And so every iteration, I mean, I think as it gets better and better. Um,
Well, then there's also like a target audience thing. Like originally, it seemed like you were targeting like I don't know 8-year-olds because of Crossroads and Champions
oh yeah,
Quest.
so you think the sci-fi is a little aged up to maybe like what,
Right.
14-year-olds?
Sure. So there's no swirls in there. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, there's no squirrels. And it really just depends. But yeah, like on the age issue. But yeah, no, it's a really good pack. Like we get better and better at making content.
It seems like you guys were intended like 10-year-old targets, and then a bunch of like 25 and 40-year-olds showed up instead. So does that like factor into like the future plans of what content packs you guys are going to be creating?
Yeah, I mean, we definitely we're an E10 title,
Well, you
so
don't have to make everything gory or have,
yeah, so you're not
obscene
gonna be able
material,
to,
but you can
you
still
know,
look at more mature or target a higher level audience without saying
yeah.
blood
Yeah, I mean, I
everywhere.
say the proof is the proof and the answer to that is already in what we've released.
Though I
Um,
still see swirls.
you see swirls?
Swirls.
Oh, squirrels. I
No,
mean,
swirl. SW.
yeah, swirl.
Yes, swirl.
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
those spinny things.
yeah. There's branding elements, sure.
It just looks like graffiti when it's on the wall of the dungeon pack. It's like a swirl. Why is that there?
You're just hypersensitive to the swirl.
Swirl, not squirrel.
I know, swirl. I'm saying swirl.
I keep hearing squirrel though.
I'm not saying squirrel.
It sounded the same thing as when you said. Anyway, moving on.
I think you're just teasing me. I think you know.
But still, it's kind of like you say you want people to make things that don't look like they were made in Project Spark, but I think the swirl is something that actually deters from that when you're making fantasy content.
Yeah, no, I mean, I know there's like swirl people, but I mean, I think some of that's gonna sneak in. You're not gonna see it. Like, I definitely don't think it shows up on every single sci-fi prop. I mean,
No,
and it
sci-fi,
does.
it's like very rare, and I'm happy for that. I'm just wishing you guys would transfer that uh, knowledge that people don't want them anymore to fantasy.
Yeah. No, I mean, I see what you're saying. Like, I mean, I'm thinking. So what? The last sci-fi or last fantasy pack re-released was Void
Dungeons.
Corruptor.
I don't see Void as being a fantasy though. That seems to be more like just the Spark lore genre.
Yeah, I guess it depends. I mean, yeah, it depends on how you want to look at it. But yeah, I mean, I don't. There's not that many swirls compared to our old stuff.
Oh
Dungeon
God.
does not have very many swirls.
No, it was just in weird places, and you're like, no, stop, no, you're hurting it. In fact, if so I'm visiting you guys next week, and if my plane crashes before I get there, my dying wish is to have no more swirls, or just an extreme minimum that like, only in appropriate places, like for like elves or something like that, where swirls actually fit in. Otherwise, they look like uh, spray paint graffiti in places that they shouldn't be. So that's my dying wish.
All right, I will remember that. It should a plane crash happen.
And
Let's hope not.
well, the funny thing is, like, I have a vague fear of flying whenever I'm in the air and there's turbulence, and I think I'm going to die. So, in order to counter that, I actually psych myself into thinking I want the plane to crash, I want to die, and then I'll be disappointed when it doesn't happen.
I That's a very strange strategy. I don't recommend that to anyone.
Actually, that's I was talking to Jeff, your services lead, when I
Oh
was
yeah.
over in Germany with him, and he's like, "Yeah, I was talking to somebody who was into psychology, and they said that's exactly a great way of handling it." Anyway,
Yeah, I guess. I mean, I don't know. Saying that you wish you saying that you end up being disappointed because you wished you died doesn't sound at all good, but
whatever gets you through that the 6 hour flight, right?
I don't have that problem, so
Oh, that's right. Have you ever flown to the East Coast?
I've flown. Yeah, my longest flight I ever took was I flew to. I've been to New York City, so I and it was a direct from Seattle. So
It
I
wasn't
was
a
like
very exciting place, was it?
New York City.
Yeah, it's lame.
I enjoyed it a lot. And
There's pizza, and it's not even that good of pizza.
we were only there for like 4 or 5 days, but we did a ton in 4 or 5 days. So we were just running around. I actually went with a orchestra trip. So that's what it was a group of students, like a orchestra of like 40 kids. And so it was when I was in high school. And we all, got on a plane together and went to New York and went and did a bunch of touristy things. And we performed like at the United Nations. That was kind of like the reason we went. Um, a very small kind of thing. We also went and like took lesson, like had a one-on-one with at was it Juilliard? I think it was Juilliard with some of the people there. So it was really neat.
That's cool.
Yeah, bunch of cool stuff. Went and saw a
Except that it was in
concert
New
at
York, and New
Carnegie
York
Hall.
sucks.
Huh?
Except that it was in New York, and New York sucks. Go Orioles. So that's a regional bias, I guess.
Yeah, that's your Orioles or baseball, right?
Yeah, Ravens are football.
Yeah.
We don't have a football rival
I
in New
don't.
York, but
Yeah. I mean,
the Yankees
I
suck.
I don't really. I mean, I grew up in Vegas, so we didn't have teams. So I've gotten very much supportive of Seahawks, especially just because they're awesome.
It's easy to be a fair weather fan, but the thing is, Russell Wilson's contract is going to make their team worse because they don't have as much money to spend on the rest of the team.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see. I mean, yeah, I will. I mean, I've been here now in Washington since 2009, and probably started paying attention to Seahawks in 2010 or 11. Definitely before that, I had no interest, but like I even didn't really have an interest prior growing up in Vegas. I was just never a big football fan. I'm getting more there. Like it's definitely like people go. Like I don't know if you guys have, if you've been to Washington, timed it with like the other stuff, but it is like when we get closer and closer, and it's like playoff and stuff. Like you cannot go anywhere without like seeing 12s. Like it's just constant. The 12th man
Right.
fans, yeah.
There's similar stuff with the Orioles, like or the Ravens during their playoff pushes. Like they'll,
Yeah. Ravens are a fun team. I enjoy watching the Ravens play.
yeah, they play hard, and they've
Hmm.
been consistently good for past I don't know 6 years or so.
Yeah, very
Anyway,
good.
back to Spark somehow. I'm not sure how we got into sports, but yeah, I will be visiting them next week. So if anybody has any requests for what I can do while I'm there, I will have an entire week with them. The only thing I
The
can't do is
requests
take
are take
pictures.
pictures and record everything.
Yeah, I'm sure there is gonna be some NDA stuff. Pretty sure.
Lots of that.
Okay. I'm actually be keeping a notebook, keeping track of what I've seen and what I'm allowed to talk about and what I'm not, because otherwise I know I'm going to slip up and be like, did they talk about that in the CAG call yet? Or, yeah. I know Fred from .org, the administrator there, behind the scenes guy, he's also coming because he wants to hang out and talk to other game devs as well.
Yeah, should be cool.
So if anybody wants to give me suggestions for like what questions to ask or anything like that, I can do so in person. Though I can't guarantee they'll actually give answers or let me tell you the answers. So there's
Yeah,
that. Oh, and I'm actually going to be staying with Thomas, so that's going to be interesting too.
should be fun. I hope you like two cats.
Oh, cats. Guys with cats.
Hey, I'm actually I really like cats. I grew up with a cat in the house, and I'm just a cat fan. But
Explains a lot.
I end up not shut up. I when we I didn't have cats though. Like after I was living by myself here, but when my girlfriend at the time moved up and came with me, uh, we ended up I think in our first 6 months we ended up getting the two cats that we have now. And that was more of just a make it more like a home. I don't know. I fought that decision for a long time for the cats. I was like, I'm 20 years old. Why do I need to like take care of a pet?
Yeah.
But
I,
fun stuff. But don't worry, man. I love my two cats. I would have not had it go any other way.
I know there was more stuff I wanted to talk to you about, but it's
There is
also
there was a whole list that you
yeah.
sent.
The problem
So
is it's in the Skype window, and if I bring that up, everybody else will see that instead of your face.
oh yeah, let's not do that.
Do you remember anything else that was on the list?
Okay, I'm gonna do a rundown. Okay, so we talked about SparkCastEpisode episode 2, probably coming on Friday because we're wrapping it up. We talked about Battlestations and announcement of it being free, which is super cool. We've talked about importing images, and all the, you know, details. We kind of talked about that. Just one thing I didn't mention is that we're gonna have a full post go up, should be tomorrow. Kind of just more written uh, details on the whole thing. So kind of taking a lot of what we've, said in the or in the stream on Tuesday, what I've said here, what we've kind of said around in different places on the forums. There's gonna be like a one shop go to, like, if I'm doing this, what should I expect? And like it's probably, so I think we'll have a how to too. It'll be like a how to, you know, what I need to watch out for, how do I make sure I'm not copywriting. I mean, to be honest, like, for it's gonna be a lot of judgment call from creators. We're not like, respond. I mean, we can take a world down, right? If it infringes copyright, like a copyright holder can come to us, but that doesn't mean that, the creator isn't legally or, off the hook for, doing
They
that.
might be
They,
sent a cease and desist letter as well, or something like that.
yeah, yeah. I mean, like, definitely creators can be liable for what they do with these images for sure. So just know that this is not a thing to be taken lightly. You have to be very understanding and careful what you're doing.
So the question that I mentioned at the beginning of the Battle Stations pack topic, but forgot to actually follow through with, was what can we expect with Series 2?
Oh yeah, 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 that's right. Well, that's I'm unfortunately beating that one back to you on. There's no announcements there yet as far as on Series 2, and I have nothing to talk about.
So that means we're never seeing any more sci-fi content ever.
No, nothing to say, unfortunately. No announcements for you today.
Can you at least
Maybe,
say that there
maybe,
are sci-fi content?
maybe you'll, learn some things on your visit next week. But
Okay, okay, there you go, people. There's at least something to learn next week for me. So take that for what you will. We were just introduced to the Kovir, which are the renegade.
Dark Codian Rebels.
Right. So I'm hoping you don't leave us hanging with that.
Right? Yeah, I mean, it's kind of funny, but like really now with battle stations, I feel like you can do justice to a full like galaxy creation. You have like enough characters and components to like do full games. I don't think we've ever had a sci-fi game that was super like full like RPG-ish, or like a longer experience, because I don't feel like there is enough content there for people to explore, especially in
However,
regards to characters.
however, on the other hand, it's not deeper, even though there isn't as wide of a breadth as fantasy. So the Astrotech has many more assets that are of the same aesthetic. So you can build upon things and make a bunch of unique. You can make tanks out of the content. Whereas with fantasy, it seems like you guys were jumping all over the place, trying to say, all right, well, here's desert. Oh, here's Arctic. Oh, here's castles. Oh, here's dungeons. Oh, here's Codian archives. Oh, here's the Knight's Rampart. Oh, here's
Yeah.
the
I mean, you can
village.
see, I mean, I wasn't on the team during that, and this is like, I mean, when all those things were getting worked on, I mean, it was super early, super early. I mean, all those packs, like, especially the early fantasy ones that were like released in beta, like those were being worked on before announcement, like 2013. And obviously, like, the team was learning about and iterating on, and figuring out like what worked and what didn't. And I mean, I think a lot of those packs are still super useful. Like desert's still one of my favorite biomes. And I mean, when you play an Arctic world or you play a desert world, it immediately stands out because you're used to so many woodlands. But right, like you can see some of how the evolution in our thinking on props and like the usefulness, and some of that thought, and in thinking and community inputs missing from those earlier packs. And there's not really anything to be said about that, except that they were just designed really early, and that the team was still finding itself and working through like those issues. Like,
Right. Well, I'm looking forward to Fantasy Series 2. Like, see that span out, and then Fantasy Series 3, etc., Series 4, and seeing how those will reflect more upon what was learned uh, and shown through the Galaxy Series 1.
yep. Well, so Realms, so it's technically Realm series, right? The
Right.
Realm series and Galaxy series and all that. So yeah, cool stuff. I'm excited. So we've already talked about so I can tell you the next content pack. We've already hinted that gets a biome.
Lizard
Uh,
Man biome.
yeah, lizard man biome exactly. But it definitely falls in the realm of uh, it falls in the realm of being realms. So there you go.
Okay.
So it's not. Although this one is probably the most out of all of the realms biomes. This is definitely the one that I think could be easily more blended into like a sci-fi universe. It really fit. It kind of straddles that line really well, I think.
So when are you actually going to announce what it is, or its release date time frame?
Let's get Battlestations out the door first.
It's
Uh,
tomorrow.
yeah, exactly. So let's concentrate. Let's get Battlestations out the door. I mean, right? You'll
We've been
next. So
focusing on
what?
battle stations for like what, 6 weeks now?
Well, it feels longer because yeah, we had the 1 week delay. But that definitely means that the you should be getting the other one sooner. There should not be as much of a gap. No promises there on the release date, but just nothing announced there yet. But we're working on that for sure. But it should be less of a week. I know there was kind of a wait for battle stations.
Well, it was worth it really because one, it's free, and two, it's giant.
It's a big pack. Yeah, I went through that whole list of everything in there. It's huge.
And again, the most important pieces are like the modular guns and the helmet from the Astrotech or Astro Marine, Space
Yeah.
Marine, whatever.
A lot of like all those modular gun pieces and the grenade and a bunch of those things can be like used for architecture too, which is awesome. Like they're just like interesting props to be that can be used for like buildings and ships and what have you, spacecraft.
Oh, and I wanted to mention the Scoundrel Mask.
Oh yeah, the coolest pack ever, and I'm so glad it's also a prop.
Well, the thing is, oh, it's also a prop?
It's also a prop.
Oh, I didn't catch that part. That's cool. So it can be used on any character, regardless
You,
of whether
you
they're
can
human or
you
not.
can throw that on anybody.
I mean, I know that he's. What was some people were saying he looks similar to another character, but I had never seen that character before, so it was all new to me.
Oh, the scoundrel, like
Right,
with
with the mask.
well, okay, so there's been some similarities drawn to like Star-Lord from like Galaxy Guardians of the Galaxy.
I had never
I
seen that
actually
before, so
Yeah, I mean I can kind of see that. I think the mask itself actually really looks similar to Ant-Man.
I was gonna
Uh,
say gas mask, but yeah.
yeah, I mean yeah, gas mask like in general,
So
but
I guess
yeah.
you can put that with the helmet from the Teddies and make some pretty cool World War II stuff.
Hmm. For sure, no doubt about it.
And in fact, there was actually a recent episode of Extra Credits on focusing on other areas of World War II, since Normandy, the Battle of the Bulge, and some of the other ones have just been done to death. That you might actually want to veer off into like lesser known battles or maybe even like civilian conflict.
Well, I'll throw it out there though that like I think it's been there now that like Call of Duty, right, and a bunch of those games have moved into like modern or near future like
Future, yeah.
war times. Yeah, like there's kind of been an outcry, at least from what like I've read, random forums and stuff, that people kind of want to get their like World War II shooters back, at least like have one soon, and I can see that. I can see why people would want one of those again. It's been a while.
hmm It was like all the rage for like 5 to 10 years, and then they started moving
That
like,
was it. That was what defined like Call of Duty and a bunch of those.
and now the next Call of Duty is going to have like wall running like
Type.
Titanfall, and it's going to have some other things from other, like auto aims or whatever from other games and rocket
Yeah,
launch.
I don't. Yeah, I don't. I haven't honestly paid too much attention to the new Call of Duty. I'm not a Call of Duty guy. I
Well, there's 10 million other people to take your place, so no big deal.
Yeah, I mean, I realize it's super. I actually I did get Advanced Warfare and played through the campaign, but I don't usually end up doing very much multiplayer.
I can't. I've after playing Halo for so long, I just don't care about first person shooters anymore. I just get tired of them like almost immediately.
Yeah, oh man, I don't. Well, I don't know about you, but I'm definitely picking up Halo 5. That looks amazing.
I haven't
I
paid any attention to it.
It
I
looks
uh,
great.
I played maybe 30 minutes into the what was it, Halo 4, and I was like, I've done this before. I'm gonna go do something else. I'm gonna go, I don't know, watch paint dry or something. No, actually, what I did was I went and watched all the cutscenes and said, never mind, that's good enough for me.
Just doing the cutscenes,
Yeah,
yeah. Now, Halo 4 is like really good. I really enjoyed that campaign. Um, I don't know. I'm really looking forward to. I've never done a lot of Halo multiplayer, and I played the Halo 5 like beta last December, and I really liked the feel of it. My favorite thing is that the time to kill compared to other games is higher.
hmm
What that means is like if I like actually shoot this person, like they just have a longer time to retaliate and like live through what I'm doing. So you have to be more strategic on how you approach stuff, and that's what I really like about like Halo, the that at least that feel from that beta. I'm hoping to actually really get into it. My plan is like, so Gears of War Ultimate Edition's coming out in like less than a week now. That will be my go-to multiplayer game probably until Halo 5. And then I really want to put my due diligence in kind of practicing and doing Halo 5 because I really thought the beta was good and want to give this a shot for multiplayer for sure.
The only game I'm looking forward to that is even vaguely in that genre is like Overwatch, and that's only because a bunch of my friends are hyped about it, and I'm just gonna play
I
it with
haven't
them.
seen anything. I don't know what Overwatch is.
It's basically Blizzard's version of FPS MOBA,
Okay.
and it's Blizzard, so you know it's gonna be high quality. It's a free-to-play game, so why not?
Hmm. I haven't heard about that at all. I'll have to
Yeah,
look at.
it's interesting. Like
Is there a release date?
not that I know of, but it should be soon because they just added it to the launcher.
Hmm.
And the only like I was actually not totally interested in any World War II making games in Spark at all. And then after watching that extra credits episode, I was thinking, well, there was the last book I ever read, which was like about 15 years ago, was Night. It was a story about a kid went through surviving the Holocaust and different concentration camps, stuff like that.
Oh, it's by I had that book. I can't remember how much I read through of it or if I finished it. Um, Guy's name starts with like an E.
Right,
I can't remember, but yeah, Night, right?
right. I was thinking about making like a Telltale Games type game of surviving the Holocaust as a Jew.
Interesting.
So
That'd
you,
be super intense.
yeah, so like you have to survive like all the choices that you make will lead to either your death or your friends and family's deaths. And then I'm not sure if this is like gonna make it in Spark when you guys go, hey, this is too intense, Moose. You need to cut this back. You know, we need more squirrels in here. You're not, you can't have the, kill the Jew.
We've never taken anything out for being like too emotional or like impactful. Like I just like knowing like if you were making that, there's not anything that we would probably take out there. I think there's obviously some inappropriate material that like would be removed really fast, but I
Right.
don't
If
think.
it was taken into a really poor taste of saying like it's a Jew extermination
Yeah,
simulator,
I mean, oh man, yeah. I mean, like, yeah.
that'd be taken down so fast, and I'd be banned, so banned. And rightfully so, right? But like I think if you're tasteful with the material and you're not insulting of the spirit of the times, I think that that should be generally artistically licensed.
Yeah, like I don't think we would. I don't see a reason why that would get removed from the feeds.
Though I can imagine it being a little bit of a stir in the community discussions.
Hmm. Yeah, probably good.
Speaking of
No
the
doubt.
community discussions, it seems to have gotten a little bit more harsh lately in the .com forums.
No, I mean,
Well, the activity spiked up, so that means, of course, there's going to be more
That's true. I mean, I think
highlighters.
the forums have been pretty active. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Like, say, I mean, yeah, a little bit more activity, but not anything. I mean, we've had to moderate a little bit. Um, Not really anything. I mean, we've gone a long time without moderating anybody. So this week, I think you've had to pull out the yellow highlighter, a little bit, a couple times, but not anything that we can't work around, or we're just trying to we want to keep that we want to keep .com a really pleasant place, for everybody. I guess a community for everyone. So just doing our thing.
Due diligence, whatnot.
Yeah.
So, was there anything else you wanted to cover tonight? Or anybody else in chat, feel free to bring up a topic. I think we have like
Yeah,
10 minutes left.
I do not have chat up, and I haven't had it this whole time, so I apologize. I
Oh, that's too bad. They were saying really nice things about you.
Dang it. Love when I get compliments.
So, Friday, is there going to be a stream or a stream guest?
Oh, on Friday? No guest. I don't think we have a guest lined up. Um, but
But
yeah,
I assume you guys are going to
we'll
show.
keep you informed.
I'm sure you guys are going to show pony progress on the stream.
Pony's progress.
Yeah.
Well, no, probably not, because we showed it last week. We just didn't show it on stream.
Oh, that'd be why. Oh, interesting. Oh, so this is just more or less you guys showing it to your team, and then sometimes you show the public along with them.
Yeah, we definitely show. We'll definitely sometimes go like off stream, and then we'll keep showing things.
So Zombies is interested in more horror packs, and personally, I would be a fan of like getting more skeleton parts, like rib cage, femurs. Like yeah, you already have a femur. Like there's like 3 different arm bones that would be nice. Though 2 of them I think could be combined into one bone. No, I guess it's always better to have more modularity, isn't it?
You argue for that, yeah.
So do you think there's any chance of having like more horror or darker themed packs, like skeletons or?
Yeah, I mean, it's a good request. Like one thing, I mean, my personal like wish fulfillment, which I think people have definitely brought up before, is kind of like a almost follow up to dungeons, but it's like the life and creatures of the dungeon, or like the thing that really populates it.
Mhm.
Like cobwebs and skeleton warriors and like all that kind of thing.
Maybe
Rats,
spiders or
whatever.
whatever.
Yeah, like I think of all those like kind of things, and yeah, that's definitely we're fantasy's definitely getting more filled out, and I definitely think that's kind of a glaring omission there. Like I'd rather have all of those things filled out before I do like elves or dwarves or expand to different races. Like I'd rather get like
Well, it's
the
not like series one of sci-fi where you take one thing and then you build on it to be really deep. So if you guys were to focus on dungeons for an entire year, I'd be thrilled with that.
Yeah, no, that sounds super awesome. I'd go for that too.
And like there's all sorts of things you could do just for the assemblies of the dungeon architecture itself before you even go into the creatures. You could have
Mhm.
broken walls, you could have shattered bricks, collapsing arches, that sort of thing.
Yeah. No, what this is crazy. Like I was thinking about this. So the game I've been playing. I like to say I've been playing this game now for forever. Getting really close is Dragon Age. I'm almost done. But like one prop in there that I see used over and over again, and I'm like, man, I really wish we had this in Spark. Is they have like these just rubble piles of stones, and they use it for everything because it's just they can like put them everywhere, and it's just like it's like cluttery, right?
Hmm.
But it fills in a scene really quickly, and they of course like most of the things you're going through is like kind of ruins and rubble and all that, so they just have like this this set of like broken rocks, like kind of like a pile but not really, kind of just spread out, so you can like put them around on the floor in different corners. You can like stack, kind of put them together to make it look busier, or and then they can be bigger for more if it's like battlements that are broken,
Hmm.
or smaller. And they use it like all over the place, and I'm like, man, I wish we had that prop. It would be so helpful,
Because
because like right
yeah, I've
now in
noticed
Open
that that's a
Tech,
problem with both the dungeon and the coding archives. Is there's a lot of open area in these things, and not a whole lot of things to put in there without making it look repetitive.
yeah, and I think truth being is that's a general thing with all of our interiors, because I'd actually say the same thing goes for our sci-fi and galaxies. Is like you like
Sure,
build
but
out the frame, and then you're kind of like, well, what do I put in here? And we have crates and
well,
what have
even
you.
there,
You
like you
can
have a you can have packs or parts from other props from other packs that are just like sticking through the floor and replacing a floor or sticking through the wall in a way that it only shows part of the prop and not the entire thing, so it looks
yeah,
like it's a actual terminal on the side of the wall as
yeah.
or a vent or something like that, just to break
We
up the
can get
monotony.
really creative, but it's definitely uh, more challenging. Like I think, and like yeah, there's there's like an endless amount of like interior, like cluttery things like for dungeons and for all that. And like you can see that in early fantasy, right? Like and still really with fantasy, except for dungeon now, like everything is concentration for like this outside like environment. Like think
Mhm.
Crossroads, right? Where it has these like buildings outside, but you're always technically like never going in. And kind of the frame set of that third person adventure, I think established a lot of the prop ideas. Like actually, I think we do um, have enough clutter. I would say now, like when I say clutter, I'm thinking like all those little small little intricate pops that you can fill into space. Like we have enough in realms to actually fill in like interiors for that. So you can do your little wood,
Bedroll,
shanty.
whatever.
Yeah, there's actually enough stuff there now where you can make compelling interiors, I think, in realms. I think, but like particularly dungeon, particularly sci-fi. You mentioned another one, I think.
Cody and Archives.
Yeah, coding archives. Yeah, those can definitely be challenging.
What I was able to do with one of them was with the Cody and Archives when I was just doodling around was um, breaking it up and having like using the what's called the artist feature pack. I'm not gonna call the real name, and having it look like there's lava pouring out from the side of the walls and stuff like that. So that could help, and breaking up the floors and having lava pits and stuff like that. That
Yep.
was able to help break it up without using props, but it was a little bit more work.
One thing that is cool, because I got the idea of this actually from Dragon Age. Um, I really like this. There's these like this temple thing you're going through, and they're themed by elemental effects. And it was pretty neat because they're all dungeons, but like one of them is more grassy, right? So like you can imagine like this is like something that we've seen Keith on stream do and like in all his creations, right? With dungeon, he like will take the terrain and then do the moss scatter effect. It's on the sides and like really do nice like moss growing along the stone. Like that's a really good way to like break it up. Um, and like you can do for ice snow like always actually like our voxels just look really good for snow because it has that kind of clumpy smoothness
Hmm.
usually, so snow piles and snow environments itself because you can kind of clump it onto things actually make it look really nice. If you guys have never played Desolate Shore Bragnum's Rest, that's like the most beautiful level that's ever been created by Poly January.
Is that featured?
Yeah, a long time ago.
Okay. Oh, so there is one thing I wanted to bring up, but I'm not sure if you can. Do you have any announcements for what to expect from TU16?
Yeah, no, nothing there to talk about to people. I think you know a few things, but yeah, we're not ready to talk about T16 yet.
Okay, yeah, you're
Stay
not.
tuned though. I will say there's a lot going on in TU16.
All right. So we
That,
are
that's
actually.
about that's about it's definitely a um, beefy title update compared to other ones. In fact, I know we usually do like title updates every 3 weeks. This one might take a little longer because of its beefiness.
All right, so we are actually overtime, and actually we started late, so even more overtime for you. So I guess we're gonna call it here, and then next Tuesday, are you gonna have the stream that was originally scheduled for this Tuesday before you revamped everything to cover the images?
Yeah, the weapon switching and all that
Right.
selecting. I think so. I think that's plan unless something else comes up. We know as soon as all that like as soon as the ponies progress thing and we showed it to the team and talked to the team and then like discussion on the forums, we are like, okay, we want to talk about this and do it for an education stream. So that took priority. We'll probably go back to the weapons stuff, especially now we get to play around with battle stations on Tuesday. So I think we will do that. I'll have to think about if there is other topics that we've decided are a priority we want to get out. But I think probably weapon selecting, switching between like an inventory and keeping all like the weapons and the clip and what your current, all that information like consistent as you're switching between them and picking them up and fun stuff like that.
All right, cool.
Yep.
And like we already mentioned, the Friday stream is happening, and that's about it as far as anything news, I believe. So we will
Yep.
see you tomorrow in the Sparkasode. Wait, no, sorry, Friday. It was delayed
Probably
to Friday.
Friday.
Probably
Probably
Friday.
Friday in the SparkCastEpisode. Yeah, hopefully
And
that doesn't run crazy because if it I don't know, because it might it shouldn't affect our Friday stream, but maybe if we end up releasing that, it'll affect. I don't know.
all right, so there's one last topic we're going to cover, and that this is there has been some conspiracy theories or some doomsday preppers, I guess, that are saying that Project Spark is dying and that all the stuff you guys are doing, like giving out free packs and the website forum and all that stuff, are having trouble, those issues. This is all prelude to you guys canceling or pulling the plug on Spark. What is your response to these allegations?
That would be a no. It's funny to see that. Honestly, all it is it's like a changing of priorities. And that's like the more free stuff and the more giveaways, and you guys, like I'm sure the community can realize, right? We have a ton of content that's out there now. In the first year edition too, like all these things, all these changes are about more accessibility and making it easier to create. It's funny to see the speculation, but no, it's that's the reason why all those marketplace changes and like the free stuff and those things are happening. It's just about opening more access to creators for sure.
Oh, and the last thing, part of
That's
that
like
was,
part of that whole announcement that we had with like focus on creators. Like that's definitely part of it. About giving more tools to creators, right? And obviously like having our assets locked behind things is a problematic.
well, the one thing that we didn't talk about that I think we should touch on real quick is the 1 year Spark Premium. Is that gone for good? Or was that intentionally removed, or what's the deal with the?
Yeah, we took it. We definitely it was intentionally taken down.
Was it
We're in
bugged?
a, huh?
Was it bugged in some way?
Trying to think if it was bugged. No, they took trying to remember the discussion. Uh, I- it happened and I wasn't really paying attention because like the first time I saw it was the forum thread that was like, "Where is it?" And I was like, "Where is it?" That was like I had the same question and then I was like, "Oh yeah, it isn't there anymore." And then I followed up. I can't really honestly remember why it got taken down, if it was a bug or not. Um, Because I mean, we just put that up. We just adjusted that offer for after when we did all the new bundles, right? Because
Hmm.
it became $50 or 55 or $50,
50.
$50, and it had 50 upload slots.
Right.
Yeah. So who knows? Maybe they thought it was too good of a deal.
I thought it was too, but so it might
Yeah,
come
it's
back,
really
but it
it
might
is
be
really
different than what it was when it went away.
Yeah, well, we still have 3 month premium still up there, right? For bunch of slots.
That's
How many
$15
slots?
and
Yeah,
15
fifteen
episodes
dollars
left.
for 3 months, and it's like, is it 10 slots?
10
10
slots,
slots.
right? Yeah,
Yeah,
something like that. Yeah.
I think everybody should be swimming in slots by now anyway. But yeah,
And there was no stream contest for this one because there was no stream tomorrow. Is there going to be a stream
It's-
contest before the next stream?
there won't until we like do a stream. We'll like announce the next contest, so there won't be like a stream contest until we say so on stream. We won't do a contest for something you aren't going to be seeing yet.
Gotcha. All right. So thanks everybody for joining us. Thanks Thomas for sticking with us, and thank you to your wife for letting you stay 20 minutes late after work.
Oh, no problem.
All
I
right.
think she's at work tonight too, actually. So
Oh, so it worked out.
yeah,
All right. So we will see you. Oh, I'll actually be. We'll be doing the next Sparkcast from Team Dakota's office.
that is right. We will be.
So
Forgot about that.
we'll see what comes up out of that.
That'll be interesting.
All right, guys. So I'll see you guys next week here from Seattle in the next Sparkcast. Good night, everybody.
Good night.
All right, thanks, dude.
Sweet. Yeah, no problem.
Covered some interesting topics there. I pushed you a little hard on some things that you weren't supposed to talk about, but whatever.
Oh, yeah, no, that's cool. I'm happy to say that like TU-16 is pretty beefy. So
And the next pack that's based on the last biome that's shown in that one concept art, isn't it? The world.
that sounds like a leading question, sir.
Damn it! All right, all right. I tried, guys. See, you tried. You wanted me to try to trick you before, and now you're actually saying, "Oh yeah, I actually recognize when you're trying to trick me." All right. Anyway. All right. Good night, guys.